Check out this awesome bike. This is a 1987 Honda CR125. I got this thing for $500, really good deal. It looks to be complete. A couple rips in the seat. Missing the chain guide here. But really that's all. I mean, it's really nice. It's got the gold rims. The stock gold rims. Tires aren't too bad. Stock silencer, stock pipe. Plastics look good. Original plastics and color. Yeah, it's a really sweet bike. So this bike was supposed to be the fastest bike out of the 125s back in 1987. This bike had a lot of new features on it that were kind of useless, but kind of cool at the same time. The attack system on the exhaust, you see that little chamber right here that drops down. See the little chamber right there? That stood for automatic torque amplification chamber. And what that did is at low RPMs, it would open up and trick the bike into thinking it had a bigger exhaust, which in turn would produce more horsepower. And then at high RPMs, it would actually close off and just become that straight pipe. And they didn't really work that well, but in theory, it was pretty cool. So that's one cool feature. This also had the first year of the cartridge forks, so you can see up there. So those were also really nice back in the day. And I believe Suzuki in the same year had the same thing, but those were like the only two bikes that had them in 1987 for the 125s. But yeah, very cool bike. This one, the owner said it did start, but bogs really bad. So he doesn't know what's going on with it. We're going to try to figure that out today and hopefully take it for a ride. As you can see, it's raining pretty good. So hopefully the rain will end today and we can take it for a nice ride once we get this thing figured out. But he said he thinks it's the reeds. He doesn't really know, but he said it kind of feels like reeds. So we're going to take a look at the whole bike, go through everything, check compression, make sure that's good. And yeah. You can see the sprocket's pretty worn down. We'll probably have to get a new sprocket for it. Those teeth on there are so short. So it's definitely been ridden if the sprocket's that bad. The front one's not too bad. The engine looks pretty good. There are a couple new gaskets by the water pump seal, so hopefully we don't have any corroding going on there. But looking at the frame and the engine, it looks pretty nice. Frame rails aren't all dented up or anything, so it looks like it's going to be a nice bike. So let's get this thing unloaded and start digging into it. Alright, check this thing out. Little walk around here. So it's missing the fork boots and the seat cover. It's supposed to have blue fork boots and a blue seat cover. So this is an aftermarket seat cover. You can see there's rips in it anyway, so we'll buy a new seat cover for it. But man, that is a cool looking bike with the gold rims. Thing's really sweet looking. And check out this stock pipe. It looks to be in perfect condition. Not a single dent on here. Maybe a couple right there. Just a couple dings, but that is a really nice stock pipe for the year. And you can see the rails are perfect. Not a single dent on those, which is really rare because most of these bikes were raced hard. This one looks really nice. Here's the new gasket I was worried about by the water pump, so hopefully that's not all corroded out. Just check the coolant here quick. Oh, there's coolant in it. It's topped off. It's a good sign. At least there's not a leak on it. Brakes seem to be working. See if the clutch pulls in. Clutch pulls in nice and easy. Looks like the grips have seen better days. We'll have to see if it goes through all the gears here. All right, we got her in the garage. So let's confirm it is a 1987 here. Take a look at the VIN. Now it's gonna be the 10th digit. 1, 2, 3, 4. Which is a G. So let's look that up quick. It actually says G is 1986. So maybe it's a late year 1986 or a really early year 1987. See what that oil looks like. I'm hoping it's not gonna be milky. I'm a little worried about this water pump area. Man, it's on there. Ooh, sticky. Man. We'll probably drain the oil too, just to make sure there's no water in there. Looks like there's a gasket on there at one point. Some gasket maker. Wonder if that was leaking. Here. Ooh, she's milky. Uh-oh. Darn. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's milky for sure. So, I'm guessing that water pump area has some damage to it, unfortunately. But for 500 bucks, that's the risk you take. I asked the seller about it. He said that he didn't know anything about the water pump area when I asked him. I said, was it corroded out? He said he didn't know. So, you know, we'll see. Most of these bikes have corrosion in the water pump area, but we'll check that out later. A brand new air filter in there. All right, so the seller said this thing actually did start at one point, but it was boggy. So let's check out the fuel system here just to make sure that the petcock's working and that it's getting enough fuel, because it could be something simple like, you know, not getting enough fuel. Line off. We'll check it. Actually, doesn't. Let's see which one's easier here. These are on there. There we go. It's coming. All right, does the petcock work? Oh yeah, good gas flow. Huh, doesn't look like premix. Looks like straight gas, doesn't it? That does not look like premix in there. We might put some new gas in there. 40 to 1 before we attempt to start it up. It just does not look like premix to me in there. All right, let's get the spark plug out. See if we have spark at least. If we have spark, we'll try to start this thing up. All right, spark plug was pretty loose. Looks like we've got an NGK B8ES plug. Let's see how it was running here. Hey, you can see there's a little bit of a white tip there. So, looks like lean a little bit on the tip. And it turns to black over on this side, so kind of an interesting plug. So it might be a little bit lean. Let's see if we have spark. I'm hoping we're not getting coolant into the cylinder. All right, do we have spark? Oh yeah, great spark. We definitely have spark. Well, Let's quick do a compression test before attempting to start this thing. So a fresh 125 should have about 150 to 170 psi, sometimes even 180. So we're hoping for at least 150. 150, I'll be happy. Anything lower than that, it probably needs a rebuild. All right, here we go. Throttle open. Kick this thing over a couple times. Let's see what we get. Again, hoping for at least 150 here. Ouch. We're right at 150. So we just made the cut. So that's pretty good. I mean, brand new rebuilds could be like 170, so it's probably pretty broken in by now. All right, we'll get this out, and then we'll get some fresh fuel in here and try to start this thing up. All right, gas is on. We'll choke it. See if the gas leaks. No gas is leaking yet. That's a good sign. All right, let's see if this thing will fire up. Choke it. Well, she does not want to start. That is weird. Must not be getting fuel. So, the back shock is junk on this thing. It's like a pogo stick. You can see me trying to start it, just bouncing up and down. So that definitely needs to be fixed. And it obviously does not start. So something's going on with it. I thought it would fire right up. Getting fuel. Maybe we'll try choke off. See if it starts up now. Does not want to go. All right, let's get this gas tank off. All right, coil looks good. CDI is tucked in the frame there. That looks good. This bike has all the original hardware as well. You can see all the original bolts for the gas tank. So I don't think it's been apart too many times. All right, so we know we have spark. We know we have compression. It could be a foul plug causing problems, but let's take a look at the carb next, get that out of there, and just see what's going on. It seems like the throttle isn't hitting down all the way. Like the slide's not hitting where it's supposed to hit. Alright, this looks like a very easy carb to get off. Alright. Little clamp right here. One right here. There we go. So it looks like the slide's pretty far up here. So let's see if we can get that to go down. So up by the throttle housing, we can just turn the screw in and see if we can get this to go in a little bit. Looks like there might be one. So we're gonna screw that. I'm going to adjust that a little bit. See if that goes down at all. Let's take that out. I can't hear it hit though. Alright, the carburetor definitely had enough gas in it. Just pouring out. So, it was definitely getting gas. Let's take a look inside the carb. We'll have to see what the stock jetting is for this. Huh. The pin for the float was out. What the heck? Must have just fell out just now. Must have just fallen out. Must be super loose in there. Yeah, I think it just fell out. Let's see what the needle looks like here. Needle looks good. No gas in the float. Float bowl looks amazing. Not a single speck in there. So it was definitely cleaned out at one point. Recently. Looks good. Let's see, we've got a 148 jet for the main. Should be a little washer on there too. Let's see if the pilot's clogged. Pilot's wide open. Got a 62 for the pilot. That seems really big, but that's clear. So it should be getting gas. Huh. See what the air screw's at. Why would that not fire up? It's getting spark, compression, and fuel. Maybe the spark plug is fouled. 1 2/3 probably. Tire screw looks good. Has a spring on there yet. Carburetor looks good so far. That is very, very odd. Check out the choke here. Choke looks great. It's working. So entire carb checks out. We'll blow through that with compressed air and some carb cleaner, but man, that looks pretty good. Alright, so it looks like the stock jetting was 62 for the Pilot, and this one is 148 for the main. 148 can go all the way to 165 depending on a pipe. So that was one of the options though for stock. So we're just gonna keep it like that. That seems good. Jetting seems spot on, so we'll clean that out, put it back together, and look at something else because it's not the carburetor. Alright, let's see what position the needle clip is in here. I think it's 6mm, if I remember correctly. Yep. Huh. That's at the highest setting. So we're gonna move that down a couple notches here. Maybe that's why it was boggy. We're gonna put it right in the middle. Right there. So that was causing a lean condition at 3/4 throttle, because when the clip is all the way up, the needle sits further down into that passageway in here, into that main jet, and it allows less fuel to flow through the main jet. So if we raise the clip, now more fuel can flow through, causing a richer condition. And looking at the spark plug, it looked a little lean to me. Alright, so the guy told me he thought it was the reeds causing a bogging issue on this bike, which it very well could be, but it would still start up with bad reeds. So we're going to check them out anyway, just to see if that maybe caused a bog. I'm thinking it's probably not the reeds, but who knows? You don't know until you look at them. I've had, I think it was like a CR80 with bad reeds. And what would happen with bad reeds is you'd go to take off on a bike and it would bog really bad. And you can't get even past second gear. It would just bog out so bad. So as soon as I fixed those reeds, the bike was really, really peppy. And those reed pedals can wear out pretty quick. And the aftermarket carbon fiber reeds like to break at the corners. So we have to look out for that too. Alright, reeds are coming off. So another thing you want to look at is the manifold here for any cracks. So this one actually has a little bit of a crack right here forming. You can see right here. But it doesn't go all the way through. And it looks like it's just a dry rot crack. Yeah. That's not super deep, but that's something to keep an eye on. And you can see if it goes all the way through because you'd be able to see the crack on this side. So it does not go all the way through, which is good. Alright, let's see what the reeds look like here. Alright, these look pretty good. Let's see if they're open. Yeah, those look pretty good. Definitely not the reeds. Those are opening. Everything looks good there. It has a gasket on there, so yeah, I'm not worried about the reeds. Those look perfect. All right, we've got the carburetor back on, we've got the reeds back on. Carburetor checks out, reeds check out. We are going to replace the spark plug with a known good one. This one's off of a running bike that we know for a fact is good. So we're gonna replace it with that one and see if this thing will fire up. So maybe it's just a fouled out plug or a bad spark plug. All right, let's see what happens. Got some 40-to-1 mixed up. All right, we gotta make sure our gas cap vent isn't clogged. Nope, that looks good. Bog. It almost sounds like the pipe is clogged. So I wonder if that's what's going on. But it fired up, so I think it was partially the spark plug and probably partially the throttle slide being stuck pretty far up. But sounds pretty good, but you can hear that bog at full throttle. So, you know, we could try a different main jet as well, but I think it's gonna be a clogged pipe. Either the silencer or there's oil and gas in the pipe that's clogging it partially. Or something with this ATAC mechanism. Maybe that's clogging stuff up. So I think we're gonna take that off and just check that out. Make sure that's not clogged. And see if that gets rid of the bog. We're gonna try to get to the silencer, make sure that's not clogged. Doesn't look clogged. Pipe should come off now. Let's just dump this on the floor and see if there's anything in there. Doesn't appear to have the pipe be clogged. Huh. Yeah, nothing in the pipe. Rings. Yeah, it's definitely not clogged. We'll take this thing off. You can see there's a little space right there. I wonder if that's the problem. There's a little crack in it. Alright, we got that off of here. You can see the little gear right there. It's activated by the power band, technically. Kind of like a power valve. So, and that triggers it to open and close in there. And it looks like it's missing the plate to open and close it. So it's stuck open all the time. So as the power band kind of kicks in and spins this gear, it'll open and close this port in here. And it's kind of like a choke, almost. When it's open, it allows this canister to fill. When it's closed, it acts as a straight pipe. Onto that shaft right there, see there's 2 screw holes? It should be like a choke in there. And it's missing that. So, let's just open this up and see what's going on. So there's a little gas in there. Looks like a little oil. But here is the choke mechanism right there. See that? So I'm pretty sure it's supposed to have like a circular choke-like mechanism on there. Alright, so we're looking at the parts diagram, and as you can see, we're missing the part right there. See that little disc with the 2 holes? That's supposed to go right onto there, that shaft right there, and kind of act like a choke mechanism. So it's supposed to look like that. So that's what we're missing. Just a little valve butterfly. Alright, so we took an old choke mechanism butterfly off of an old carburetor, and we drilled out a couple holes, and we had to cut this disc down a little bit, but we got that bolted down and it looks like it's working. So we are going to cover up these 2 holes with some epoxy, let that dry, and then come back and install it and see if that's going to work. It's not perfect, but it's probably better than nothing. At least it blocks off some of it, you know. And we're just going to apply a little bit to here. Just cover up those holes. We can always sand it off after it dries here. Alright, just going to let that dry. Alright, we got the epoxy to dry. So now air can't go through those holes. So let's try reinstalling this and see if that solves our problem. Alright, now that we got the pipe fixed, let's see if we can hear a difference in the way this thing sounds at full throttle. Before it was pretty boggy. Alright, it's a little less boggy. We won't know until we ride it, so let's quick take it for a ride and just see how boggy it sounds in every gear. Maybe it just has to clear out a little bit. let's see if she's boggy here. Not have. We will see. Yeah, it's like a pogo stick back here. Wow, that shock is bad. Alright, first ride on this thing, it is very boggy still. So our pipe fix did not seem to work. It doesn't seem like that makes a difference. But yeah, it's extremely boggy. It's got to be something with the carb, I would think, because it's got good compression. It has good spark. It's just not clearing out. We don't have much room to test it in my yard, but you know, it should clear out. You know, it was definitely warmed up enough to where it should get on it right away. All right, let's see what's going on. It's pretty wet, isn't it? You can see the plug is pretty wet. Maybe it's just getting too much fuel. Huh. Let's try first adjusting the air screw. Alright, that sounds a lot better. You can see right off the throttle, it's really crispy. So it was definitely the pilot jet. So we are like 4 turns out on the air screw. So that's allowing more air to come in. What that tells me is that the pilot jet's too big for this bike. Right now we're running a 62. We probably need around a 52 for this thing. So we'll drop the pilot, and then the air screw should be set at the normal setting, which is like 1.5, 2.5, because you shouldn't be 4 turns out. But that just tells us the pilot's too big. We're gonna move on to the main jet and the needle. It's still breaking up a little bit on the top end there, 3/4 throttle to full throttle. So I think the needle clip is a little bit rich, so we need to go up with the needle clip position. I think 1 notch. All right, let's change out this needle position here quick. I think we're just gonna go one notch up. Not quite where they had it, but one more up. Just to lean it out a bit. At 3/4 throttle. It's peppy right now, but not quite there. I think it could be a little bit better. I'm just being picky though. Alright, let's quick change that. One up with it. So right there. Must have ran out of gas or something. Sucking in air. That's weird. Huh. Oh, we're out of gas. Alright, this thing is running almost perfect now. It doesn't break up at all. It's really nice. So it was in fact the pilot jet that was the problem. It was just sucking up the gas. And we actually ran out. You could see it rev up to the moon. We ran out of gas. So that was really sucking it through. Which is crazy that it used up that much gas. Used up half a gallon in like 2 rides. So it was definitely rich. So I'm glad we solved that issue. It sounds like the pipe's working too. You can kind of tell when it hits the power band. So, you know, the combination of the pipe fix and the carburetor fix, I think we're gonna be good to go. And moving up that needle clip really leaned out that midsection on the carb, and yeah, it's pretty crispy. So I'm gonna leave it like this, and tomorrow I'm gonna go to the land and really test it out to make sure it's perfect. But we got rid of the bog, and that was the main issue for today. All right, let's quick check the oil after riding it. See how milky this is. Then we'll check the coolant, see if that went down. And then the water pump area to see where it's coming from. See if this got worse. Ooh, yeah, that's pretty milky. I think it probably got worse. Oh yeah, that's like pure milk. So, that's not looking real good. Yeah, look, it's milky. You see that coming out of there? Looks like the oil is mixing with it. Yeah, look how milky that is. That's crazy. So, I think the water pump housing's failing. Get this cover off. Looks like it's a double layered gas. Goes all the way through. What do you guys think? Here we go, moment of truth. Sound there pretty good. Rubber mallet out. Alright, that budged a little bit. Oh, it's not corroded. Just a little milky in there. Yeah, she's a little milky. Yeah, so if you look in there, there's a little corrosion right there and up there. Let's see how bad it is. It's not horrible, but it's not great. It looks like it can be repaired. See, it just ate right through there. So what we're gonna have to do is take off this cover and look from the other side and see if there's any holes in it. And obviously order up a new seal and a new shaft and a new oil seal. So, yeah, it's definitely pitted. That one big pit looks like it might go all the way through right there. So that would be the problem. But that's very, very common on these. And this one's actually not that bad. Definitely repairable. Hey Vin, what are you doing? I like your glasses, buddy. We needed your help today, but where were you? Where were you? Oh, you wanted to help today, didn't you? You wanted to help. What did you do? Alright, so I think for 500 bucks we did pretty good. The seller said this thing was super boggy. We fixed the bog and we found the culprit for the milky oil, which was the water pump seal and the corrosion. So we're gonna fix it up next video. We'll get a graphics kit, a seat cover, some new grips for it, some fork boots, and this thing's gonna be looking pretty good. Vinny's checking out the new pressure washer as well. We'll have to open up that next video. So stay tuned for next video when this thing is finished up and we take the first real ride on it. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for subscribing. Stay tuned for next one, and until next time, be out.